Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Hector Reyes, aka Okami, all over the internet. We are here on Diversity Saves on their amazing Haunted Holidays fundraiser event. And let me explain a little bit who Diversity Saves is first. If this is your first time tuning in to Diversity Saves, they're a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of passionate BIPOC, LGBTQIA neurodivergent and disabled TTRPG creators, actors, and fans who wanted to create a means to amplify voices not only in the community, but in the works we consume across the industry. We are committing to promoting and uplifting marginalized communities and the tabletop role-playing industry, and with funding from donors, seek to aid the community with grants for marginalized creators, provide TTRPG supplies and materials to educational and recreational centers to promote education and creative exploration, and uplift voices by providing a platform for underrepresented creators to promote diversity and inclusion. So far, the Diversity Saves Grant Program has given $7,000 back to the community to bring products to life. There are a number, we are going to be playing Kids on Bikes tonight. We're playing a very special adventure called Three Kings Night. There is all a matter of interesting incentives that you can do to impact the plot. Uh, you can gift adversity tokens, you can gift rerolls, you can gift steps up, you can the incentives go from 5, 10, 15, but then as they get bigger, you start doubling up on things. Um, and you are highly encouraged as people watching to donate to this amazing cause and help our players survive Three Kings Night. So now that we've talked about our incentives, talked about why we're here, I'm going to give the pitch for our story and introduce our players. As I said, I am Hector, aka Okami, all over the internet. My pronouns are he, they. I will be your facilitator, director, GM, guiding the story. Three Kings Night takes place in Dorado, Puerto Rico. It's January 5th, 1990, a time of the internet was still brand new. Only people in the military and librarians were using it. The radio was what primarily everybody used to listen to their music. Um, Puerto Rico had just bounced back from a terrible hurricane called Hurricane Hugo, which hit it in 1988, 89. And it is Three Kings Night, which is the night before Three Kings Day. A day in Puerto Rico where all the kids uh, get what a lot of kids in the States would say is an additional Christmas present. Uh, but Puerto Rican kids, we don't really see it that way. What is happening is that an extended family of kids, adults, and teens living in Barrio Mauyo are going to have to band together tonight to help their beloved family matriarch, Dona Carmen, save Three Kings Night from a dark and terrifying force from folklore. Our inspirations are Encanto, Critters, Gremlins, Stranger Things, and a little bit magical realism, because that is the Latino way. My players, like the residents of the island of Puerto Rico, are a diverse table. Um, but I am welcoming them into the world of Puerto Rico. And with that, I would like to introduce my players and their characters. I am going to start with, let's see here. Let's look at this overlay. All right. We'll start with Mars. Please introduce yourself and introduce your Puerto Rican character.
Hi, my name is Mars. I use they, they, ze pronouns. Am a TTRPG designer, artist, actual player, kind of jack of all trades type person. You can find me across the internet at either Paladinosaur or Paladinosaur underscore. Sometimes I can't get the username without the underscore. I am playing Juniper, a 9-year-old absent-minded mathlete who's a big nerd. She uses she, her pronouns and goes to an English-speaking school in Catania. Um, sh- she's a big dweeb, and I'm excited to get to play her today.
All right. And then I want to pass it on to our next English speaking cousin, D Diamond. Introduce yourself and who you're
Hiya.
playing.
Well, hiya. I'm Madness Diamond, but since we're friends now, you can call me Diamond. I go by Diamond Lynn, Madness Diamond on all social medias. I use they, she pronouns. I'm a TTRPG actual play performer. I am a writer for a couple of different settings. I hopefully will bring you a little bit of sparkle and shine and wholesome chaos to this wonderful place of Diversity Saves for Three Kings Night. Hopefully we can save it. I will be playing Rosie Morales, who is also the English-speaking cousin, um, who is 19 years old and visiting for the holidays because they go to college in the States. And she's just kind of that, you know, very seasoned babysitter, being the eldest of her generation of grandkids. So she was always regulated to taking care of the children, which is anybody who's the eldest child knows this pain. So, but this is Rosie's life.
especially in Latino communities.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And last but certainly not least is Dio. Tell us about this amazing uncle that you're playing.
So I actually wrote a little bit for him here.
Yeah, okay, please share.
So just to kind of give a, I actually wanted him to be not Puerto Rican, but what I wrote for him was he was born and raised in Chicago. His name is Toño, and he met Luisa during, which is the Doña Doña
Carmen.
Carmen's favorite daughter, but he had met her during his time studying at the University of Chicago in Champaign-Urbana.
Mm,
And they had married soon after graduation and moved to PR some years later in plans to start a family. Some time had passed, but now Toño works at the Arecibo satellite as an engineer, living next door and raising their newborn daughter Luz. He has an extensive workbench, or sorry, that's actually getting more into. I'll leave that to the side. But yeah, he's the favorite uncle, and or I would consider him to be the favorite uncle. He tries to be.
yeah. Is he from a different Latin American country originally, and he's kind
Uh,
of been there into the family, or is he just a stateside Puerto Rican?
I was actually hoping to make him Mexican American and
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
because when I speak Spanish, I mean I worked at a call center for 2 years with a bunch of different Latinos and a lot of the Puerto Rican community,
Hmm.
and so I picked up a little bit of the accent, but there's no way I could feign
No,
it.
I love it. I think it's great. I think that your character is probably assimilated a little bit, picked up, a few, words here and there, and maybe you've taught people in the barrio, what chicharros are. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, which is a type of pea in Mexico. It's pretty cool. Uh, so with that, we have our characters. We've done our safety tools. Occasionally, Kids on Bikes has its own really cool bespoke safety tool system, um, where we have different lists: the detour list, which is we don't do; the wish list, which is what we want; the with care list; and the content warning list. But the thing that's probably going to come up most on stream are our road signs. Um, we have break, which is immediately stops play, calls for the scene to end. We have backpedal, which is similar to script change. So if somebody says backpedal, it lets the scene rewind and be redone, and then we're going to go in a different direction than the group is heading. We have pedal harder, which is like a green. It signals to the players and everyone else and the GM that the direction the story is going is great and can go even further. We have coast, which is lets everybody know at the table that the content's okay, but also that they should not go any further with content or descriptions. We have check pressure, which is sort of like a check-in. It asks about the content that you as a player or me as a GM worry will be going too far. And then we have rest stop, which calls for an in and out of game break for any reason. We will be having a mandatory rest stop an hour and a half into the stream to look after the health and comfort of our players, but we may have more rest stops if it is needed by everyone on the stream. For those watching, these safety tools are for the table. However, your mental health comes first. So if something happens in the stream that you're not comfortable with, because this is a horror stream, please, by all means, make a donation, drink some water, and mute the stream, and you know, feel free to watch another charity stream later that is less intense, because we're here to have fun and we're here to get scared and celebrate the holidays, not to be upset. Mental health comes first, right? My players, are we ready? All right. Let's begin. It's 1990. It is sunset. There's a beautiful golden glow. There's a smell of fresh rain because it rained early in the morning. But it's all drying up. But there's still a few little dewdrops in the various different hibiscus flowers and blossoms that are throughout the neighborhood. Eventually, as the sunset dips below the horizon and the sky starts to darken, all of the street lights light up one by one by one. And soon the streets are flooded with children and families. Because of work conflicts and coming in late, your Luisa, your wife Dio, is going to be taking primary care of the baby, and would like you to go out with some of your nieces and nephews to experience Three Kings Night, so that you know what to do when the baby's old enough. And actually hands you Luce's shoebox, and she says, so it's not like tennis shoes like it is in Mexico. It's a shoebox. You put the grass in here, and then I got some fresh carrots from the farmer's market. So when you're done getting grass, come back and I'll get you some carrots, and we'll just put it under the crib.
Okay. Seguro, mi amor.
Bueno. And go ahead and so Luisa, so you're standing outside of Dona Carmen's house. Dona Carmen is the matriarch of the family. She is currently, it's 1990s, so she's in her 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And she is the foundation of everyone's extended family. You're on the porch of these beautiful, she's got all these Corinthian columns and an arcade outside of a beautiful white and orange painted house. Tiles on the outside carport. And you and Luisa are kind of on the front porch outside, having this conversation. And she says, well, make sure this is the first Three Kings night for, the La Chiquitita, as she looks through the screen door and sitting in front of this big, what we used to call a boob tube TV with like knobs on it, and like a wooden casing and like bunny ears on the top, but a little cable box because Dona Carmen's husband loves cable, loves watching sports, loves watching TV. And let's go ahead and like introduce our characters' names so that we have it in the audience's head. Dio, your character's name again, one more time. People remember.
Tonio Gonzales, but any of the English-speaking children would, or anybody in the town would call him Tony.
Tony. Gotcha. So the camera goes from Luisa into Dona Carmen's home, and you get a glimpse of Dona Carmen chopping vegetables in the kitchen, because the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen are one massive front room where everyone can see it, and sunlight, what little the street lights are flooding in. And sitting in front of the boob tube, Mars, is your character. If you could introduce your character again, you're sitting in front of the TV watching a show in English. So reintroduce your character. Give us a little bit more description of what she looks like and what TV show she's watching.
My character's name is Juniper. She is 9 years old and is recently immigrated to Puerto Rico. She is watching some sort of anime. She's a big anime nerd. Probably like I don't know when Voltron came out, but
nope,
like
Voltron. Yeah.
Big robot fan. She is kind of short for her age. And has like long brown hair, kind of tan skin, on the lighter side, but certainly has gotten some sun. And big old glasses, with like those Coke bottle lenses.
Awesome. So coming up behind you as you're watching Voltron, the camera just sort of swings over to the hallway, the back area where all of the bedrooms are. And coming out from that place holding a shoebox in her hand is Diamond. Go ahead and introduce your character and let us know a little bit more about what they look like and who they are and what their name is, as you've essentially been assigned to take Juniper out on her first Three Kings night in Puerto
Rico. Rosie is very typical of the I went away to college, I'm an adult now in appearance. Because while Rosie always listened to her parents' like guidance and appearance and all of that, and behavior wise as well, Rosie's a very good child.
All right.
Rosie's now 19 years old and
Yes.
had just gotten back from the States from their first basically semester of college abroad.
Yeah.
And Rosie
did you go to Chicago or New York?
I think Rosie
or somewhere
went to
else.
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I think Rosie went to Chicago, trying to follow in Tio Tony's footsteps.
Yeah.
And so Rosie is a little bit taller for a girl, but very like curvy, very like tries to be mature looking, wearing this very oversized like college hoodie that is like the prized possession, but also has a bunch of like paint stains on it, has a bunch of just like general stains where it's like maybe that there's some craft glitter stuck to it still, from a babysitting escapade gone wrong.
Right.
Has like a perm that got wet after it got done because it had rained the day that she had gotten her very first adult perm. So it's a little messy. Try to do her best with it, put it up in some cute pigtails. And she's also wearing makeup, which is not the right shade for her. But she tried. She tried her best.
She really
tried. A little bit too much shimmery pink eyeshadow because Rosie's favorite anime is always the one where the girls look really shiny.
Right.
Always, always. And
Always.
but she's wearing just, typical like oversized college hoodie covered in craft glitter with a red backpack with roses embroidered on it, always on those shoulders. It's the emotional support backpack for the babysitter.
Yes.
Carrying the shoebox like it's a prized possession. And it's just kind of like immediately whenever Rosie walks into the room, it's just kind of like head count and then sees Juniper and is just going directly to Beeline to sit next to Juniper in front of the TV.
You go, you sit next to her, and Juniper, you see that Rosie's there with a empty shoebox, which is, I want to say it's weird for you because I think Three Kings Night is very private with your mom and dad. It's very like, we're the only Puerto Ricans in the neighborhood. Here's an extra Christmas present. It's all very small. And this feels like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like trick-or-treating. How do you react to like it being real, like the shoebox, and like in the corner of your eye, you can see all the other kids in the neighborhood are all swarming out into the streets like it's a Halloween.
I think Juniper like flaps her hands kind of excitedly and like just kind of can't, you can tell she's like a little nervous because she um is not really used to this, and it's going to tear her away from her Voltron show, but she's also super excited for like this new tradition and this new experience.
Uh, as at that point, Dona Carmen looks over and she's like, all right, go. Dinner is going to be in 2 hours. I have more cooking to do. Take the 2 hours, go get the grass, okay? And she says this in like pure, like it's Spanish that you can both understand, but like, how does grandma do that? Like you're not sure. And she just, oh, I'm so sorry. She like gets over, comes over. So Dona Carmen is the kind of woman that people in the States would have described as like beautiful or a bombshell in her 20s. And she's just kind of aged into this like a very kind, gray-haired, um, regal, elegant, elderly woman. She keeps her incredibly long gray hair up in a tight bun. Um, and because it's the holidays, she's wearing like uh but she's home. So she's wearing like a really nice, almost like holiday themed muumuu. She's got her arms are naked. It's all these beautiful like reds and blues and greens, and there's like a Christmas tree pattern on it. Um, and she's got these incredibly comfortable like fur lined like slippers on. She's either wearing slippers or sandals while she's cooking. And then she just comes over and she's like, okay, so go ahead, head on out into the neighborhood. Your Theo Tony is going to be with you. And just walk around. Some people will have candy, some people will have como se dice, how do you say chocolate caliente, hot chocolate. Some places will have hot chocolate. Um, Go and enjoy and come back, and I will have dinner ready. And we'll have a good uh, Dia de los Magos feast, and it'll be great. And you can smell coming from the kitchen. She's already started a roast of lechon, which is like a spiced pork. And it smells great. You can already smell, you can see one of your cousins is cutting and smashing plantains to make tostones for everybody, and your mouth just sort of starts watering as the wonderful smells. You can smell them too, Tony, like coming through the gate. And she's like, All right. Um, you three have a wonderful night. And she kisses you on the cheek. I'm gonna put the baby down for a nap, and then I'm gonna go help with the cooking. And then she heads inside. Um, so I just want to make a little announcement. We've gotten our first couple of donations. So we have a re-roll of a failure for one character, and I will just leave that to all of us as a group. I'm just going to kind of stack those, and we will use them as we decide. And then each one of you already has an adversity token that you can spend later at any point. So while you are in the you all meet up on the porch. I'm going to kind of smash cut to the three of you together in the neighborhood. And all these kids are kind of running around, pulling grass from the sides, throwing it in their boxes. Some of the parents are like, no, 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 and knocking the dirt off of the roots, so like the dirt doesn't come in. All these houses are all lit up. You can hear Christmas music or holiday music in English and in Spanish blaring from all these different places. And it's a massive block party. Almost every single house is open. Several houses have like speakers on the outside. People are playing music. There are tables with trays of food, pork, rice, beans, fried plantains, sweet plantains. Another one, and it's all your cousins. It's either a cousin or a second cousin. Like the limited time you've been here, Juniper, you're pretty sure from what your parents and your Uncle Tony has told you, you are related to everyone in this barrio in some way. You are either a second cousin or a third cousin, or in some shocking cases, like the grandnephew or niece of some of the old people that you've run into. And there's just sort of, so what do the three of you want to do as you're going through the neighborhood in this chaos? Do you want to focus on getting the grass? Do you want to interact with some of the other people in the neighborhood?
So I wanted to ask a little bit about like getting grass, like what, because Los Días de los Reyes Magos was something that I experienced where it was almost like another Christmas, where it
Yes.
was and almost like Juniper's case where they would be very quiet, or sorry, it was Rosie's case where it would be very quiet, very like uneventful because we were the only Mexican people in the community, and
Yeah.
I mean I've never like this is all brand new to me actually.
Yeah, it is wild. Like and the only thing you can like really compare it to is a lot like Dia de los Muertos in
Okay.
terms of like, but in the sense that like Halloween, that this feels like American Halloween. The kids coming out, everybody just sort of like opening their homes. It feels familiar to you, Tony, but also like foreign,
Okay.
sort of like how Luisa felt when you took her home to experience Dia de los Muertos, like in Mexico proper. She was like, oh, I like this, but like this isn't my culture, and now you're like, oh, this is what
Get the same
Luisa was
feeling.
talking about, because you're like, what are you talking about? You're Latino, you fit in, like you get it, and she was like, now you're like, oh, this is what she was talking about, like
Hmm.
how it's different. Um,
So in that case, then does getting grass mean going to other people's homes and getting like candy or?
no, from what you've seen, the kids are going into either other people's yards or abandoned lots, because there's like a couple of houses that still haven't been reconstructed from the hurricane.
Mhm.
So there's some abandoned houses that where the grass has been growing wild, and that sometimes there's wild animals, sometimes there's like rodents, sometimes there's like other things. So like the parents have to be there to make sure their kids don't like cause problems
Yeah,
while they're
going
out
to a
there.
going to a big patch of grass that's a little too big and it's clear that there could be some kind of wildlife in there.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's one of those things where, and the food and the partying is sort of for the holiday, right? Like it's people are just meeting and being social. It's like one more Christmas before essentially Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Is the deal, is what appears to be going on. So Where would you guys like to try to get grass? Do you want to go to one of the vacant lots? Do you want to go see if there's some in front of a cousin's house? You have a couple of different options. Actually, let's make a roll. Give me a let's see. Would be an appropriate roll for this. Let's look here. I think give me a. I just realized there's no mark in this. That's something that Abria made up for Misfits and Magic. Let's look at it. Give me a. What do you think out of your abilities that your character would want to figure out while trying to navigate this holiday in terms of like where the best grass would be?
Also, we actually have to get like high quality grass.
I mean, that's kind of the point, because none of these most of the kids are like believe that it's coming. It's like Santa Claus.
Oh,
So this is like kind of a show. Okay, here we go. Give me a brains check.
a brains roll.
Yeah, give me a brains roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 5.
All of us?
No. Just Uncle as he's looking around.
Okay.
Okay, D12, because I'm going to be
Ooh.
using brains. I actually had to improv to get my wife to get all of my dice.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. I got so my brains so also would be a D12. I just got a 3 on there, and then it's a +1 because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So it'd be 4.
4. Oh, you only got how much did you get on your roll?
4.
4 total. Okay. It's at that point that you realize that the abandoned sugarcane fields that nobody is touching, that is right like down the street from Dona Carmen's house, is like the perfect spot. Like there's
Okay.
plenty of clean grass there. You can see it. You've got a flashlight on you. Go ahead and add that to your backpack. I have decided. You've got a flashlight on you that would have been given to you by your wife. And you can head out there into the field. And it's some of the nicest, cleanest grass out there. Actually, you're pretty sure there's probably some herbs out there too that Dona Carmen would probably want to cook with. So that is
Like
the first spot that you're looking at. Would anyone else like to kind of look around and see if they can figure out what would be a good place? Or are we going to want to follow the uncle?
I'll attempt it.
Okay, go ahead, Rosie. Give me a brains roll.
I got a 6.
You got a 6. You get like a little bit of the same thing. You're pretty sure that sugarcane field has got some of the nicest grass, but you're a little unnerved that nobody is going out there. It seems a little off because that's where the nicest grass is, but everyone, it's almost as if there's like a barrier and people are not going there. They're just going into the neighborhood, pulling grass up from people's yards, asking to go into the backyards, because a lot of people have big backyards where they have like mango trees and passion fruit trees, and there's a giant avocado tree and papaya tree in Dona Carmen's backyard. So like a lot of people are going like into the neighborhood, but they're not going towards the sugarcane field. And I say that it's cut down. There's no more sugarcane growing there. There's just sort of wild grass and flowers and herbs that are growing in that empty lot. You just know it used to be a sugarcane field because Dona Carmen won't shut up about it being one when she was a kid. But you notice that and that kind of gives you a little bit of a chill.
So
Mars, can you also give me a brains roll?
I can, yeah.
As you notice that maybe there's something a little off with Rosie, the expression on Rosie's face?
I got a 14.
A 14. All right. Pause on that. Dio, did you have a question?
Oh no, I was just gonna try to do some role playing, but I'll keep going since they've already rolled a 14. I want to see where that goes.
Um, you're excited. I'm going to say that you're in the middle of grabbing some really nice looking grass that's growing on the side of the curb. When you stop and you look, and you've got the grass in your hand, and you look out in the sugarcane field, and I'm going to say you guys have been out and about for about a half hour to an hour at this point. It's peak Three Kings night. The streets are filled with kids. The party's wild. You look out in the field, and you're like, oh, the grass out there is incredible. There's even some edible flowers you remember reading about that because Dona Carmen's been trying to teach you like real herbalism, as opposed to like the magic herbalism that you read about in manga and in anime. And not only do you see some awesome herbs out there, but you also see Dona Carmen with one of her like baskets. She's got her garden gloves on, and you see her picking herbs from the ground and putting in the basket, and then she just stops and freezes, and she's staring at some shadowy lump, and she's not moving, and she's trembling, and you, with your instincts, because you got so high, can sense that she's scared.
I think this is very upsetting to Juniper, and she probably, um, I think she tugs on, her Uncle Tony's sleeve and says, Something's wrong," and points over to Dona Carmen.
Okay, let's go. All right, just hold my hand. We'll be there in a little bit. Let's see what Dona Carmen wants, or what's wrong with Dona Carmen. And he notices her expression too. Um, so with that, Uncle Tony will, and first, what is Rosie doing at this point?
Yeah.
Rosie was like while looking like at the same direction that Tony had been. Rosie also pulls out this like utility flashlight and is currently untwisting it and swapping the batteries the right direction because I put in my backpack that I have a flashlight with the batteries put in backwards for safety.
Yeah.
But it's literally like a basement flashlight. Like this probably took up a lot of the space in the backpack. And it's literally just because she's seen Uncle Tony with one before and thought, that's useful. I need that.
And then like you've got the flashlight up. Oh, I want to do something interesting here. I want to roll from you, Diamond, from Rosie. Can you give me not a brain, not a brawn? This is more like for like luck, I would say. So, give me like a fight. I think fight. As you're like struggling with this thing, you're like, oh, how do I get this right? As you're like triggering it. Give me a roll to try and like get this tool working.
My fight is a D6. I rolled a 6. Do dice explode still?
Yes.
And
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They just don't go up. Like it stays a D6.
9.
You got a 9. Okay.
6 + 3.
You're messing around with it. You get it working. You get it tight. And then the light flashes and it goes directly like into the sugarcane field. And you see just a spatter of blood on the ground as the column of light like just gives a little bit of illumination onto what it is. And you see Dona Carmen like drop her herb basket and jump back and cover her mouth and then put her herb basket down, and she's starting to run towards you all. Are you all going to meet her in the middle?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Smash cut. You are running across the field. You meet her in the middle of the field. She literally like puts her arms around you, Dio. And she is trembling internally. Like there's the external strength of the matriarch, and the fact that she's kind of thrown herself in your arms is a very big deal. Important question. Rosie and Juniper, do you continue to approach where she was, or do you stop?
That is a
Juniper's
Juniper
gonna
question.
oh, yeah, Juniper's gonna keep going. Juniper wants to see what happened or what scared, Dona Carmen.
I am following Juniper and
Okay.
hovering, and Rosie is doing that thing where it's like flashlight armed in one hand, ready to do some weird like smackies.
Absolutely.
Something comes
Absolutely.
at Juniper.
The two of you get like a little closer and see a pretty horrifying sight. And this is I'm looking over our. All right, we're running into something that you're handling with care. As you approach, I need you both to give me a grit check, as what you see just sends a cold shiver down your spine.
I got an 8.
An 8?
13.
13. You both manage to take a deep breath and steel yourselves as your flashlight goes over and you see what looks to be one of the local livestock, a goat in particular, that people, a lot of people in Puerto Rico in this time still have livestock. They still have chickens, but this, you see what you think is a goat, and it's just shriveled, and like something just sucked all of the moisture out of it. And you see some like claw marks on it, but there's no bleeding. The only blood that is here are the spatter marks, like around on the ground. It covers some of the grass. It glistens in the light of the flashlight, and you're both able to just steel yourselves because it seems unreal. It looks like something out of a movie, even though it's in front of you. It's a and in that moment, Dona Carmen looks up at her son-in-law and says, "Oh no, are they seeing it? No." And she like puts her hand out and she realizes it's too late. The children have already seen. Tony.
Tony's gonna respond immediately by grabbing Juniper, picking her up, and pointing her head away from the actual scene, looking at Rosie and being like, "Please," and passing her to her and saying, "Take her inside. We need to. I'm gonna deal with this. Just go inside. Don't tell anybody what's happening right now. Doña Carmen and I are gonna talk about this. Just go. Take her inside."
No. We don't send them away. Let them stay here with us.
Are
We
you sure?
need. Yes. We are a family, and we have to handle this together. Rosie, stay. And she says in very clipped, crisp, clear Spanish, but she does it very slowly so that both Juniper and Rosie can understand. Tony, where you're from, the goat killer, the goat drinker, the blood drinker. And the word you hear in Spanish is la chupacabra. And she says it 3 times. And the weight that she says it with, like, you've heard of this vaguely, but it's always been like a boogeyman. But like, Dona Carmen's like eyes are wide. It's here. I don't know why. And it's so close to the house. What do you say?
Tony's gonna be in a bit of disbelief. Um, he thinks this is some kind of cruel practical joke. But he knows of La Chupacabra. Um, he's also still a bit confused as to why she wants the kids to be out here, but I mean, he can't argue with her at all.
Look,
But he's in high alert, and I mean,
give me a brains check really quick as your mind starts to go back about a week ago.
ooh, terrible. I got a 3.
You got a 3? Okay, take
Yeah.
an adversity token. You guys just got a bad feeling like about this. There's something about this familiar, but you don't know. You can't place your finger on it. There's something you're forgetting. You're not sure, but I think you're a little too
In high alert.
listen, let's get you're right. Let's get back to the house. And at this point, don't you? It's like a snap decision in her head. Like she's finally listening to you, Tony, and sort of like gathering you all and heading back towards the house. However, Rosie and Juniper are their own characters. Is there anything that you would like to do different? Or are you following Grandma back to Grandma's house?
I think like whenever Rosie was handed Juniper, I think it's kind of that awkward moment of like, you're almost 10 years old. You're basically kind of an adult. I don't have to carry you if you don't want to be carried. And so it's kind of like that on the hip, and then it's the quiet conversation of, do you want me to carry you?
And Juniper shakes her head and says and says no.
Okay. Then just like slides down the hip
Slides
and back
down.
to standing.
Yeah, do you guys want to like look around, maybe investigate while the adults are distracted?
Yeah, I think once Rosie puts Juniper down, Juniper pulls out their backpack, which has a variety of uh random objects in it, including a pair of like little plastic binoculars. And I think Juniper pulls out these little plastic binoculars and starts trying to like look around and kind of investigate.
Awesome. Okay, go ahead and give me a hmm, give me another brains check.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a 19.
A 19. You're looking around with your binoculars, using a little bit of the moonlight, and you kind of focus. Your eyes are finally adjusted to the darkness, and you see it. Tracks. Massive, like clawed inhuman tracks leading from the goat remains into the neighborhood proper. Like from the sugarcane field into the actual barrio. And you 100% know what direction it's going. Now, whether it's safe or not, you're 9. Who knows?
Exactly.
Do you point it out to Rosie or do you keep it to yourself?
I think yeah, Juniper's gonna point it out point at the tracks but not say anything, and then pull out some like math homework and start drawing the track shape on the back of her math homework.
Rosie, you see the tracks. You've never seen tracks like this before. Like you've seen like you've taken like a bio class, you've seen like bear tracks, animal tracks. This is like nothing you've seen in college.
I think
It's like something out
seeing,
of an anime.
yeah, I think well, one of the things too is Rosie has the flaw of being superstitious. Which makes this
This
all
is
very
this
funny.
this is your superstitions come to life.
Yeah.
Like the school psychologist tried to be like, oh, these are just little things like you need to let go of. No, it's real. It's right in front of you.
I think like as Juniper is drawing the tracks in the math homework, Rosie's kind of doing that thing where it's like they're like cupping the shoulders but not actually touching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the like one step back.
We got 4 more
Yes.
adversity tokens.
Oh my
Yo.
gosh.
Yes. Is that here we go. Oh, this is exciting. This is great. I love this. Okay. Don't forget to spend those. Oh.
Wait, can you want?
What?
I guess. Okay, let's see. They want me to say rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Done. Finished.
Biggie bumpers.
Yeah. I guess it's
There.
because you have a very charming accent, or you have a friend
Oh.
out there that is like
Oh, I know. God damn it.
Friendship at its
You-
finest.
friendship at its finest. Friendship at
At
its
its
finest.
finest.
So
Doing it for charity.
doing it for charity. We're doing it for charity. I'm so excited.
Oh,
Sorry, the adversity token threw me off. I shouldn't be doing that. I'm a storyteller. So you are Rosie, please
Mhm.
recenter me. You are putting the shoulders but not touching.
It's like the thing you do with kids whenever they get a little bit too close to like the edge of something.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie's kind of doing that with Juniper and letting Juniper like do her own thing and draw the tracks and everything. But if Juniper gets a little bit too close to either the tracks or back into that area, Rosie just kind of like is, hey, maybe let's not go over there. It might come back. And Tio Tony would be better at handling this. He's really tall and like he can like lift like 4 sandbags at a time. So like it's kind of like an anime protagonist. We should kind of maybe be sidekicks for this one. And it's Rosie like taking like one step back, letting Juniper continue, one step back.
So at this point, I think that Dona Carmen says we should go back to the. What is that? And she looks at the drawing. Tony,
And Juniper
this is why I did not send them back. Mi chiquitito, my small one. And Dona Carmen gets down at your level. What did you see?
and Juniper, I think, is a little confused because I think she's so used to like Halloween and there being spooky things at big events like this. She's like, "Oh, this is a fun game." And doesn't quite understand like Juniper has problems identifying like real emotions versus like pretend emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like she points at the tracks and says, "I want to follow them. I want to go. Where what is it?"
She's like looking and she's like, Donnie, these tracks are leading back to the house. We need to move. And at this point, she looks you in the eye and she says, thank you. Thank you. and kisses you on the forehead, the way that grandmothers do, and stands up with a steel resolve. If there is one thing that I learned as a little girl, is that the way to deal with these things is with family. Vámonos. And then she just starts like, she takes your hand and starts following the tracks carefully and quietly and says, Rosa, I mean Rosie, light the way.
Flashlight.
Uh,
Rosie just looks at Tonio, and is just like, is this the way to hold this? I think this might be yours, actually.
He double takes and is like, wait. Um. Okay. Hold it from here. Make sure that you have perfect balance, and then with that, like he'll tell you could just hold it from one hand, closer to where the light's actually focused. You could always twist it if you wanted to focus more. Because if it's in the industrial ones, I'm pretty sure those are the ones that you could twist to be able to focus the light inward and twist it so outward so it could actually be wider.
So as you are, you adjust it and it gets brighter. Go ahead and give me a brains check, 5 to kind of adjust it so that it's better.
Myself or
you, because
okay.
you're adjusting it.
12. Here we go. Terrible rolls today. I got a 2. I got a natural 1.
You got okay. So you start messing with it, take an adversity token. And then as you're like about to adjust it, it goes and you are all plunged in darkness as this flashlight short circuits.
I didn't
Niña,
do
stay
it.
close.
You kind of all get close in, and now you're just using the moonlight is all you will have to make your way through this dark field back towards the house without a flashlight.
Tony had one of his own.
Yeah, Tony, do you pull out the one from your toolkit?
I do.
Okay. Tony, you like go in, but not before hearing, I mean, you're sure it's just an animal from El Junque, but you hear like a weird animalistic howl.
So question for you. How are so we had something called coyotes. Are they prevalent in Puerto Rico? Like, or is there like a dog breed that specifically that is more like a coyote?
No. What we have is we don't have coyotes. We have like a bunch of stray dogs
Okay.
that were imported to the island that sort of get taken in by people or just travel at Junque wild until an actual wild animal deals with them or not. So what we have instead is like a bunch of like wild canines and cats, feral cats
Okay.
around the island, especially after hurricane. There's still plenty. And they're usually mutts. There are some chihuahuas. Like actually, there's a lot of chihuahuas around. I don't know where they came from, but so those are the kinds of creatures. It could be a dog. It could be, but like it sounds similar to a coyote. Actually, it is eerily similar to a coyote, and you know, coyotes should not be on the island.
That sends shivers down his spine. He doesn't just pull out the flashlight. I don't know if this is okay, but he pulls out a gun.
It is
His Uncle Tony is strapped.
he pulls it out very carefully. And in the shadows, and then as you're kind of pulling out this very extreme weapon to protect your family, you all of a sudden find yourself pulled into a flashback.
Okay.
Seeing these tracks, you suddenly remember what it was you were trying to remember 15 minutes ago. It's 1 week ago. You're at work alone, looking at the satellite station, looking at the messages coming, and you hear a loud crash coming from outside. What do you do? What did you do in this moment?
Ay, coño, what the fuck is that?
You look around. Give me a brains check
Okay.
to kind
My
of see
be-
if you can figure out where the sound came from.
It's my best roll. Let's go. Oh, actually, not too bad. I got a 9.
You got a 9.
Yeah.
You get up. You realize it's coming from outside. And you go over to one of the windows and open the blinds because or rather you roll the blinds open because in Puerto Rico we have like metal blinds are like really common. They're better for keeping out the rain. You roll the metal blinds and look out the screen, and you could hear the coquis, the tree frogs, echoing out in the jungle. And then in a tree, maybe about 10 feet, like past the parking lot, which is still kind of covered with like moss and cracks and things. Beyond the chain link fence that surrounds the facility, you see a shadow, almost like a cat-like shadow, with like glowing red eyes, with a similar growl of a coyote, which once again is not, you remember it. It shouldn't be this far. And the eyes are glowing and looking at you.
Since I'm in the parking lot, I would assume I would be next to my vehicle.
Oh, you're in the building,
I'm in
looking
the
out the
building.
window
Oh, shit.
across the parking lot to the creature. So you're kind
Sorry.
of safe. I assumed that you wouldn't go outside while something like that, but
No,
would you
no.
like to be in the parking lot instead? Like,
I mean, no. Yeah, being inside is much better. I thought, sorry, I was just imagining, just based off of the second description of the chain link fence, I kind of, my thought derailed and started going into, oh, I'm outside. Sorry,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
with that then,
Make a grit check.
yeah, great. Oh, my best one. That's a 4. Let's see.
Of, that was a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4.
Take an adversity token.
Okay. Uh,
As you just sort of tremble, shut the metal blinds, and uh you just sort of like, the next thing that you remember, it's almost like your flashback is interrupted. The next thing you remember is buying the gun.
Yeah.
And you come back to, and you don't, the fear of seeing the creature literally just erased your memory. You just now remember uh uh why you got the gun, because you would never get a gun, like not like, and it all is sort of all piecing together in this moment as your heart just starts racing and you're sweating, uh with the only calm part of your body being like the gun with the safety on because you're around kids, but everything else is like, it's all kind of coming together. You've been worried about this for a week and you were so terrified you suppressed it.
I denied that it even existed.
Yeah, but it's all coming back now. And remember, my player Dio, you have tokens uh for the next time you get a bad roll if you want to spend those tokens to succeed.
Okay.
You currently have 3 like that are
Mhm.
yours, and we have 8 in the party pool.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
Okay.
and then you
That
just sort of, you come back to uh having like seen the tracks, and you're pretty sure that it's the creature. Do you maneuver towards the front of the group, or do you stay parallel with Dona Carmen?
I would take lead, so I would be in front of the group, towards the direction of where the sound's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still towards the house, right?
Yeah, it's going towards the house.
And that's where we gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Because the house, like it's Dona Carmen's house, but like next to the house is where. Because I'm terrible with names, where Luisa and Luz are. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's no playing with this. He's gonna start inching forward towards the house, and he's gonna wave at everybody to follow through.
Uh, you guys are traveling through the house with the new flashlight, making your way. I think everyone give me a flight check to see how fast you can get there. Feel free to spend whatever, adversity tokens you want after you make a roll.
You guys have
I'm
3
gonna say
adversity.
that the difficulty for this is 8. Uh it's like really, really like you're hustling. This thing already has like a head start on.
I'm going to use my adversity token because it's a D6 for me to make the check. There's no way.
I got you.
I need a place to keep track of all my adversity tokens. I'm gonna. Everybody donate, please, so I don't die. Thanks. Oh my god, this is like terrible.
You have 3 that you've gotten from your
Yep.
rolls, and then I miscounted. We have 7 as a party from donations.
Yep.
Okay. I am stacking these adversity tokens, I guess. Oh my god. So let's see, I had 3 from 8 from the pool. And I'll use 1, so I'm down to 2. And yeah,
All right. Made it.
hustling. Yeah.
Okay. What did we get? Rosie and Juniper.
I got a 7, but I'm gonna take it because Rosie's superstitious and Rosie's a little freaked out right now.
All right. Taking an adversity token. And how about Juniper?
Juniper got a 4, and I'm just gonna take that because I don't want to use a bunch of adversary tokens, and I think Juniper is starting to get, especially when, Teotoni pulled out the gun. I think Juniper started to get like very scared. Like before she was like, "Oh, this is a fun game." Like it's like a Halloween thing, and then Tony pulled out a gun and she was like, "Oh, this is something is wrong." And so is kind of afraid of being around the gun, and so she's kind of not moving as fast as she might in other scenarios.
So what I'm going to say for flavor is you're heading across in the darkness. Tony, you're moving the fastest, right? You've got the uh oh shoot. Is Tony holding the flashlight and the weapon, or is he heading the flashlight to Dona Carmen or Rosie?
So it'd be like this. Kind of
Oh,
like
he'll
a
be
front.
like that. Oh yeah, got you. So you're moving, um, and what ends up happening is Juniper, you trip. Like literally an actual like root sticking out from the ground that you can't see because you're kind of you got short legs and you just sort of hit onto the ground, skin your knee a little bit. You don't take any harm, but this is what in the fiction causes Rosie to pause and come around and pick you up, which is the reason why you don't arrive in time. You get into the yard. The yard is very big. It's almost a full acre. You get over to the yard and you're going through the various hibiscus bushes that have been planted by Dona Carmen and her husband, making your way over, and you could see the tracks. And when you get to where there's this massive, it's like 10 to 15 foot tall avocado tree is in the backyard. And you can what you hear at first is avocados falling, which they shouldn't. They normally fall when they ripen,
Mm.
And last week, Dona Carmen's older nephew, Regi, came from next door, harvested all the avocados and took it away. There shouldn't be any avocados falling on that tree. And then when you look up, you see it, the creature that you saw outside of your work in the forest, those red eyes staring at you, its massive claws silhouetted in the moonlight. And as your flashlight makes way up to it, you see its predator-like mandibles open. And with that, we're going to take a rest stop. We are going to take 10-15-minute break, take a breath, and then we are going to jump immediately into your confrontation with La Chupacabra. All right, we'll be back. Hello, and we are back. So when we left, we were on a cliffhanger. But in order to truly earn 4 tokens for our charity, Dio has to say the phrase in an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. So take it away, Dio, and then we will jump back to our haunted holiday adventure.
Okay, first I'm gonna say the generic "Get to the chopper." Okay, oh there we go. There it is. Let's see. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Oh, that
There
was
we
terrible,
go.
but there we go. That's it. That's it. And
Good.
that was
Yeah.
4 tokens.
Good. Those four adversity tokens hopefully will save your life in this scene.
I hope so.
So you see, just to recap, our lovely family of Carmeneva, Dona Carmen, as we call it, she has spotted in the old sugarcane fields near their neighborhood a poor husk of a goat, and a series of terrifying moments leading us to a confrontation with a mythical, dangerous figure known as La Chupacabra. I want to start. You are looking at this creature in the eyes. You have trained the gun on it. Your family is behind you. What are you doing? As essentially you face your fear, which is your family being in peril. This means that you cannot make planned actions. But
It's more of instinct at this point, right?
yeah, you are running on pure instinct and adrenaline. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna start blasting.
All right, give me a fight roll.
All right, that's my best one. Let's see. I'm gonna use an adversity token.
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
You rolled a 1. You spent an adversity token to make it a 2.
We also have we have a
You have a
thing
failed
for
reroll.
one reroll.
You
Oh,
want to
I,
use your
I would rather reroll. Yeah, I'll do that
yeah,
instead.
let's we're production. Take note that we have used our reroll. Reroll the failure. You'll still get the adversity token because they gave us money. But roll again.
I got a 12.
12. Okay. You go in and fire on the creature. The bullet flies through the air. And because you got a 12, it was perfect timing because right as you pull the trigger, multiple people in the neighborhood start letting off fireworks. Because in Puerto Rico, during the winter, the entirety of the winter holidays, fireworks are constantly being set. I'm talking Roman candles, sparklers, the little mini rockets that go up, and some people are firing blanks into the air. So when you fire the shot, not only does it go through the creature's shoulder, causing strange black ichorous blood to spatter on the tree and cause it to recoil, the sound of your gun is drowned out by the rest of the neighborhood, unleashing fireworks. I want to move over to Rosie and Juniper. How the two of you are reacting? Like you're like 10, 20 feet away in the darkness. You're at the edge of the backyard, maybe between 2 hibiscus. Maybe it was one of the roots of the hibiscus bushes that you tripped over. And you are in the bushes in the shadows, and you're hearing a bunch of fireworks and guns with blanks go off. And you would know this because you guys dealt with this at New Year's, which was just a week ago. And how do you react? The two of you are essentially alone in this shadowy garden, surrounded by all this noise.
Juniper is pretty sensitive to like loud noises and is not the biggest fan of the fireworks, so I think she like covers her ears and like closes her eyes really tightly shut, trying to kind of drown out the noise or like get the noise away. And I think, yeah, she's just kind of like curled up, kind of sitting on the ground with her hands covering her ears and her eyes squeezed shut.
Okay, give me a grit roll.
Grit roll. All right. That's a 5.
That's a 5.
Mhm.
You are just like really, really, really shaken right now. Go ahead and take an adversity token.
Okay.
Uh as the you just take a minor wound
Okay.
as between the noise and the tripping and the scraped knee and everything, you don't feel good. Rosie, what are you doing in this moment as you're seeing, like, the fireworks have gone off, gunshots are going off, uh and Juniper is not doing well?
I would like to use my rebellious strength to make a charm roll to basically try to convince Juniper that everything will be okay.
Go for it. Go ahead and give me a charm check.
Which dice is that? That's a D12.
Mhm.
That's the fun one of, does Diamond know what a D12 looks like? That is going to be a 10 plus 3 with rebellious, because I get to add plus 3 to rolls to persuade or resist persuasion from kids. And Juniper is considered to be a kid. So that is a total of 13.
13. Juniper, can you give me a mind, just a simple mind check, just to give the difficulty?
Yep. Brains check.
Yeah,
Yes.
brains.
Okay. 14.
14.
And I will use an adversity token
Okay.
to make that a 14.
Through the noise of it all, like at first you can't hear because like you've got your eyes squeezed and everything, and then eventually you feel like hands on your shoulder, and you can see the words mouthing of Rosie, and then eventually, like, just for 2 seconds, you slide your hands down, and Diamond, Mars, what do you guys think Rosie says to Juniper? What do you think would make Juniper feel better between the two of you as players? Like, what calms this moment? I want to kind of give it back into your hands and not dictate how your characters feel. But Rosie has managed to say something that has really calmed Juniper. And let's what is it? What do you RP it out for us? This moment.
I think going off of the fact that Juniper and Rosie have a lot of the same interests, just in different age groups. Because a lot of the things that Juniper likes now are things that Rosie also grew up with. So, like, liking anime, it's like also being the one who doesn't speak like a whole lot of Spanish and being the main English speaker in the family. And also, like, that Rosie, like, is the babysitter, is very, like, liked by kids most of the time. I think it's very much that, like, we're gonna just start saying random things that are usually cheer you up to distract you from whatever's going on here. And it's recapping the episode of Voltron you were watching, because Rosie's already seen it. Because it's always reruns. They always rerun the
It's
last
always
like
reruns.
the
Always
same
reruns.
10 episodes. Because Rosie's seen it, but probably Juniper only got to see some of it, but Rosie knows where they left off. And it's like, oh, hey, like, did you like this part of it? It's like, well, I like this character, but I think you like this character. But like, if we did like for Halloween next year, if we did like a Voltron like family costume party, like who do you think Dona Carmen would be? It's just Rosie being that, like the info dump of comfort.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think that is very comforting to Juniper. And I think Juniper takes out a little like plastic robot from her backpack that's been like clearly broken and then repaired, and is kind of fiddling with it while she listens to Rosie, and is just kind of like lightly rocking back and forth and listening and playing with this robot, and like you can tell she's not, 100% better. She's still overwhelmed. She still has this scraped knee, but she's feeling a lot more secure, I would say.
And so there's like a moment of peace in the midst of this terror. And then we're back to real time as the creature leaps like cat-like off of the top of the roof, lands on the edge of the chain link fence that is blocking this yard from like, the next building over, and then the sugarcane field. And it's just moving lightning fast, leaps off of the fence, and you're able to get another shot at it if it's going up in the air. Or do you want to run towards the kids? At this point, you realize that the kids are still in the garden.
The kids immediately. Yeah.
Okay. So you put your gun down and you start running towards the kids. Dona Carmen is fleeing with you, and she's saying in like a whisper, because like she doesn't want the thing to hear you, but like she wants you all to hear her. She says, we need to get to my mother's private storage shed, which you guys know is like deeper in the neighborhood. It's your great grandmother's place, which is like further into the neighborhood than the house. As she's like running with you, I need and the creature is just like kind of circling around, and you are all like together again, and you can see the creature has gone from the fence. You guys can see it now. You can see its shadow along the edge of the fence. It's like huge. It's like the size of like a panther, maybe a little bigger. And it is on the fence with its red eyes looking at all of you. Make a flight check. As I am assuming you all are trying to get out of the danger.
I got a 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah. Which is not bad for a D6.
No, not bad at all.
I got a 9.
A 9?
I got a natural 1.
Okay. So, you all like get ready to go and flee. And how I want to describe this is the creature leaps up at you. Dio, your character, your uncle, you're able to fire off another shot at it mid-air, and then it as it hits the ground and rolls, Juniper, you skid, fall, trip, and hit hard on the ground. As Rosie, you're able to scoop them up. Go ahead and take another minor injury, as like, you just sort of fall and bounce off the ground, but you're still like terrified and hurt. And you are in Rosie's arms as all of you are like doing your best to book it, but like before you're able to get around the house, the creature lashes out with its claws and slashes at your uncle's the hamstrings, and you take a minor wound that is now bleeding and seeping through your blue jeans, and you're kind of hobbling as this creature got you with a good hit.
Okay.
You're in the back of the house. You're in the shadows. The creature is stalking you, is chasing you guys. But with Rosie and Dona Carmen's help, you guys managed to get into the back of the house. And Dona Carmen, in a panic, rather than running into the neighborhood, throws open the door to the storage shed, y'all's storage shed in the back, and runs into there and is like waving for the rest of you to join her. Do you go in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys get in, and Tony, you are able to get the door shut right before the creature slams into it, and you can see the wood from the door crack as you guys are inside of this room. It's like a 5 by 10 storage shed. You see all kinds of like weed whackers, machetes, a garden hose, the lawnmower, all a weed whacker, like all the things that you can imagine, like for doing gardening, are like in this shed with you all. And the shed has like little tiny windows with like the metal blinds that are all open, and you guys have the light from the neighborhood is kind of streaming in, but you can hear the creature just outside. A low rumbling purr. And it's circling around you. What do you do?
With the injury and the hamstrings, Uncle Tony's going to start trying to make a tourniquet, trying to basically establish some kind of sturdiness so he can be able to walk for at least with more ease. And
Yeah,
while
you
that's
go ahead.
happening,
Yeah, you go ahead and do it. No roll necessary. You know what you're doing. You've got some time, or at least as long as this door holds. Um,
and he'll point at the girls and be like, I need you to get me the gas canister. I need you to get me the machete. I also need to see what we could find that's sharp, something that we can work with here. And he himself, once he's done with the tourniquet, he already has some of the medical tape. Is going to try to improv a weapon.
yeah, you go ahead and give me a brains check. To just kind of use what is here to put something together. Rosie, are you just sort of handing him stuff as he's making this happen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I got a 10.
You got a 10? Okay.
Yeah.
You managed to put together. So what do you want to put together? What are you imagining that you got here?
Basically what I'm going to do with the machete, I'm going to make it where it's I'm just going to douse it with oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to also wrap the grip so it's going to be easier for it not to essentially, I don't know. I'm trying to kind of figure out how I want to do this.
Are you so what I think is you've got the gasoline, you can put the gasoline on the machete. You have matches.
Yep.
You have enough cloth to wrap around your hand and wrap around the hilt so that the flames will, and you also have, there's also water back here, like
Yep.
that you keep for hurricanes. So you can also soak the rags so that the rags are wet. And like what you see is like you're kind of improvising and your mind's like going off. This is just me as the MC giving you an ideas. And you're able to light the machete. Like you're probably going to get 1, maybe 2 hits off with the machete on fire before the fire goes out. Before the fire goes out, because you only have so much gasoline.
And he's gonna give that to Rosie.
Oh, the
So
way Diamond wishes that Roni Kenshin was a thing, so I could make a reference to that with the flaming sword. Didn't come out until 1996. I checked.
Darn it.
And he's gonna do another thing too. I'm gonna do another brains check to see if I could make something with a lawnmower.
Okay. So you go over to the lawnmower. That's going to give the two of you time to do something. What do you guys want to do? As Uncle Tony is trying to arm everyone.
Did I notice at all if it was acting adversely to light?
Give me a brains check.
Okay.
You see what you could pick up. You're thinking back to when you were running across the field to see how the creature reacted.
That's what's 8 plus 7?
Oh, that's 15.
15. Yeah, my dice exploded, so it's 8 plus 7, 15.
So you realize this thing does not like light.
Cool.
The brighter, the worse. And then you remember that in some of the folklore books that you had to study in your cultural anthropology 101 class, When it mentions the chupacabra, it mentions that the creature never comes out during the day. It's always at night. And that sticks out in your head.
I am going to give Juniper something for my backpack. I have a disposable camera, and I'm thinking one of the little Kodaks.
Yes, with the super bright flash.
Yes. I'm going to give Juniper that and show Juniper how to basically take a photo and then reload it without actually taking the photo, and say it's like you press this button and then you twist it and then it's going to stop and you take another one and just keep doing that as soon as the door opens. Because this is like a new, fresh thing of film that Rosie had gotten just specifically for this trip.
Yeah.
And is going to basically like try to give Juniper something to also tinker with and mess with, because the big flashlight might be too big for a 9-year-old, and also Juniper's hurt. So it's something that like if Juniper wanted to stay stationary and just keep doing that, and then basically showing her, it's like, hey, like just direct it towards like where you hear the sounds of the creature, or just direct it towards somewhere, because the more light that we have going on, especially flashing lights, it's gonna probably like really annoy it. And then I'm probably just gonna go start looking for any, like if Uncle Tony needs something, then yeah, like Rosie will go and do that. But it's like I'm looking for basically floodlights, because especially if we have hurricane prep.
Okay. Give me as you're like kind of looking through, kind of sort of figuring out like what you want to do. Go ahead and give me brains as you're going through here trying to find floodlights.
I got a 6 on that one.
You got a 6? You're looking through, you find one floodlight that got tossed in here that you use for like repairing the generator during the hurricane. That you can like plant in front of the door and plug in. Juniper, what are you doing?
I think Juniper, like before Rosie gave her the flashlight, was rooting through her backpack and pulled out like a little tin of band-aids and was just kind of like putting a bunch of band-aids on her skinned knee, like more than she needed to. But is that sort of like children think band-aids heal everything, and Juniper is hurting, and all the adults seem preoccupied, so she's like, I'm gonna take care of myself, and I'm gonna put a band-aid on.
Yeah, give me a simple brains check.
Okay. 15.
15. In this moment, I think not only do you put band-aids on, I think you pull out like maybe a little first aid kit, a little Voltron themed Saturday morning cartoon first aid kit with like Voltron stickers and band-aids on it, but it also has like a little like Sandy wipe, and you're able to clean and put it on and take care of yourself. And maybe there's a little snack in your backpack too, and you're able to just like, while the adults are distracted, go ahead and heal one of your harm off as you take care of yourself.
Sounds good.
In this moment. And then as soon as you're done kind of like dealing with that scrape and it feels better, and you're like, you get handed the camera. Is there anything different you would like to do with the camera as you're like looking at it? Because you have like essentially one more role, you know, as you're kind of looking around.
I think Juniper's gonna try and look for like maybe root around in her backpack to see if she's got like a little pocket mirror or something that could like reflect the light and make it brighter.
Ooh. Actually, I'm just gonna give that to you. That is freaking cool. You get a little pocket mirror so that you can like magnify the flashlight. The flash on the camera, and you're able to just sort of like angle it at just the right way. I'm just gonna give that to you. That was great. So at that point, we're gonna move back to Uncle Tony. You are looking at the lawnmower. Go ahead and give me a brains check, and depending on how high you get, is what you're able to. Because it's there, you have a moment of pause. You can modify it. The roll is just going to determine like how ridiculous it is, how much you're able to change.
Shit. What happens if I use a adversity token?
Every adversity token you spend increases your die roll by 1. And you can spend as many as you need. I would say that this is difficulty 5 because you know what you're doing.
Okay.
You want to spend some tokens?
I might want to do a reroll because I got a 1.
Oh, we don't have any more rerolls. We only had 1.
Son of a biscuit.
You have 4 adversity tokens yourself, and there's still the pool of 7 for the table.
Yeah,
Yep.
So there's play.
I want to do what I can to be. I mean,
You rolled a 1, so
this is a last stand. So
yeah, just spend your 4 tokens.
yeah, I'll do that.
You spend the 4 tokens. You like get it going, and you get it rigged. How do you want to jerry rig this lawnmower into a weapon?
Okay, so essentially, because I started to immediately look at like 1990s like lawnmowers. What he's gonna do is he's going to um rip off the motor, remove the blades, and essentially just remove the body of it, and have it where he somehow MacGyver's a glove onto like the bottom of it so it doesn't burn his hand, and he essentially is going to have motor, glove, and the actual rotor of the lawnmower here.
Oh, that is cool. That is so cool. So you
And
finish that, yeah. Oh,
while also still having the gun in the other hand. It's going to be heavy, but he should still be able to just basically be like it's like sword and shield, but with lawnmower and gun.
uh, at that point, Don Dona Carmen is like, "Hijo, ¿qué estás haciendo?" And like takes the gun out of your hand very carefully, like resets it as if she's had training, and waits at the door or gets in the back. Are you ready?
Also, she has the gun. All right, by all
She has the
means.
gun. Just because like you're not, it would.
Then what he's gonna do, if that's gonna be the case, then it's like, oh well, if you're gonna do that, and he puts it into his dominant arm and just gets ready to go out there.
Okay. It's at that point that the door rips off of its hinges. And the creature like leans in, and you could see it closer. So its face is kind of like it's a mammal. Like it's kind of vaguely like maybe wolf-like, except for the fact that it has like insect-like mandibles in its mouth and face, huge claws, and long arms, but still like muscly and feral, covered in brown fur, um, and with glowing red eyes. Uh, and it's at the door, and it just rears back on its 4 haunches, its tail whipping around, and it just roars at you with uh the heat of like fetid, like somebody's been eating raw livestock, like not cooked, like
Ooh.
like it's bad. uh
I
what do
have
you
a
do?
I have a one-liner in the chamber.
uh
He's
what do you do? What is your one liner?
he didn't bring the shoebox through the grass, and then he revs the engine
Make
and
a fight. Looks at the group.
and he looks at the girls and say, "Now with the floodlights."
All right, everybody. uh this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play with the rules a little bit. I want you all to make a fight check, and whoever the highest result is the one we're gonna go with, as you're all working together as a team. And if you want to spend any personal adversity tokens, you may.
17.
17.
2.
2.
5.
5. Excellent. This is how this goes. You guys both like do the flash. The creature goes with its eyes. You turn on the floodlights. The creature is just like, it's just getting angrier. Like it's almost as if like the light, the extra light, just pissed it off more and didn't harm it at all. As you come to a horrifying realization, sunlight. You need sunlight. As the creature leaps in, and then you see Uncle Tony and then crash it into this thing's face, and it just starts, the blade starts spinning and the thing starts screaming as it's cutting into it, and it falls down into the ground, and you all have an opportunity to run. Give me a flight check. Difficulty is 5 because you guys have got this thing down. Excuse me, 4 because you guys have got this thing down.
Got a 9.
If I
Yes. What do you got, Diamond?
if I use my flight check to protect Tony because he's still injured, can I have my protective strength to add 3 to it?
Yes.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
So if I'm getting assisted here, what's going to be the case? Because I got a 2.
You got a 2?
I did.
Okay.
I got an 11 with
So
my
we've
plus
got
3.
2, 11, 9. All of you manage to, like, you get pulled back. All 4 of you, including Dona Carmen, flee out as so what I'm going to do, since you use your protective just for flavor, Tony, you would have gotten hit by the creature's tail, which is like serrated, but instead it's Rosie. Rosie, you're able to like interpose yourself in between and put up the floodlight that you still have, but the floodlight shatters and like some of the glass gets on you, and you get all these little cuts as you're kind of scrambling and getting up and pulling your uncle, avoiding the whirling of these blades. And you take a minor injury from the creature as you are all making your way. We smash cut to the 4 of you going through the neighborhood. You see various different people. You're getting closer to like the end of the night, right? So people are starting to head home, but there's still people out in the streets celebrating. And at this point, they see and so no one's really paying attention to you. Like sometimes people look like concerned, and they see the look on Dona Carmen's face, and they see her holding a gun, and a lot of people start not being afraid of her, but being afraid of the situation, and are starting to take the kids back into their houses. And there's a couple of times where like she shouts in Spanish to older people, the chupacabra, it's in my backyard, it's on the move, get your families to safety. I'm going to the spiritualist. She says in Spanish, perfect Spanish, I'm going to the spiritualist hideout, or at least that's what it sounds like to Juniper and Rosie. Dio, what you hear, because you understand Spanish better, is you know that Dona Carmen's mother, who has passed, was essentially a spiritualista. Like she was like the Puerto Rican version of a curandera, right? She's like a spiritualist, a shaman, a mix of indigenous, mixed Catholic, like, and but this is the first you're hearing of your great grandmother-in-law, may she rest in peace, having like a hut. Like that seems a little what? and people are like listening to Dona Carmen. They're not even paying attention to the fact that she has a gun. Uh, there are some judgy looks from some of the older men in the neighborhood, but they don't say anything because she's a matriarch. And you guys find yourselves in a corner of the neighborhood that you had been told not to go to. It is an abandoned shack or an abandoned house with its own porch. It's overgrown. The door's padlocked. There's all kinds of like, it's no one has been allowed to go into this place since the hurricane. And you arrive, and she just hands Tony his gun back. And she very nervously goes into her pocket and shakes and is trying every single key, and none of them seem to be working. What do you all do? How would you like to respond in this moment?
Tony's gonna try to calm Dona Carmen by putting his hand on her shoulder and say, "Look, we're here. I'm here. Keep trying to open the door. If it comes through."
Okay. Give me a charm check. Difficulty is gonna be 8 because she is panicked.
Cool. I have a D8, so I better roll max. Let's go. Okay, where's my D8? Do I have my D8? There it is. Whoop, that's. I got a 2.
Okay. Calm down. Got this. She keeps going through the keys, like she just sort of just rebuffs you. And take a diversity token. Juniper, you are on this porch. What are you doing?
I think Juniper is looking out, like facing away from the door, trying to kind of keep watch, basically.
Give me a brains check as you're kind of looking around. You're taking the time to observe.
That is a 20, so I explode, and then a 16, so a 36.
Oh, a 36. You're looking around and you're looking at the neighborhood, and you see a pretty spectacular sight. You can see the creature is up on a roof, like 4 houses away down the street. But then you see one of your cousins, Luis, Luisa's little brother, Luis, because they're like named after each other. And he's maybe like he's like Dona Carmen's baby, so he's like 12. He's like the last kid to like leave the house before, once once Luis leaves the house, Dona Carmen is officially 100% the matriarch because all her children are gone. And he sort of pops up with a Roman candle, and he's like, "Mami, cuidado, hay un chupacabra." And then in translation, of course, is "Mom, watch out." Or rather, it translates more to "women in the neighborhood, watch out, there's a chupacabra." As like the translation kind of gets fuzzy in y'all's brains because it's like, what they're saying and and then he unleashes a Roman candle onto the creature. Boom, boom, boom. As multiple explosions of light come out of the fireworks that he has and slams into the creature. Um, uh, and it hits, it falls off of the roof, slams into the ground. You hear a bone break. And then the creature is slowly starting to get up, but it hasn't noticed you all yet. What would you like to do with this information?
What is he looking at? Or what is the chupacabra looking at?
Well, the chupacabra is not looking at the group. It's essentially like looking up at the roof of the house.
Oh, okay.
And that is what Juniper sees.
And I think Juniper's gonna relay that information to the group like in a whisper.
Yeah, like an urgent whisper.
Yeah.
Okay. Rosie, ping-ponging, popcorning over to you. What do you want to do? Well done, your Carmen's trying to open the door.
I have a strange question for you.
Oh, I love questions, please.
Do Puerto Ricans put extra keys under doormats, and is there a doormat in front of this shack?
Oh, I feel like this is a little bit of a luck check. Maybe luck, or let's look at these other. That is a very clever. That is a very, yes, Puerto Ricans do. We absolutely do hide keys different places. Go ahead and give me a. Let's see here. Give me a flight. Yeah, give me a flight. As you're just sort of like, wait a minute. If I could find this key, I don't. You don't have to deal with this. So flight difficulty 4. Like just you're just sort of looking around.
6.
6. Boom. You underneath the potted plant. You move it out of the way, and right there is a shiny key, untouched by the hurricane, because this potted plant is like super heavy and didn't get knocked over. And Dona Carmen is like, oh, thank God, open the door. And you're able to open the door, and dramatically, y'all have another one of those moments where the whole family like backs up into the building and shuts the door. So
Does our other uncle come with us? Or is he too far away?
Which one?
The
No,
one with
he's
the
on
Roman candle.
he's on the roof of the house.
Oh, he's on the roof? Okay.
Yeah, he's on the roof of the house. He wanted to be on the roof to fire off Roman candles for the holiday because it would be cool. And he spotted the chupacabra and just started firing at it because he
I love
knows what
this
it
family.
is.
I love this family so
Yeah,
much.
he's from the island. He knows what a chupacabra is. Like from and you guys are now in this room that at first is pitch black except for the flashlight, and then all of the candles in the room light up as you were kind of expecting like a dirty, grimy hurricane, like messed wreck of a storage room. No, it is clean. It is immaculate. It smells like frankincense and myrrh, but also it smells like adobo and recao, which is like the various cooking spices that your grandmother and your mom's cook with, kind of mixed in with traditional like frankincense and myrrh and sage, and it's sort of just this like shrine, this beautiful syncretist shrine. The walls are painted this kind of deep brick red color with like yellow accents. There are built-in shelves that are um, really they're stone. They're like nice stone slab shelves as opposed to wood. There's some polished wood shelves, all with all kinds of knickknacks of saints, Taino stones, sacred stones that have the various different pictograph symbols of the indigenous people that lived on the island. Beautiful like saint statues, uh, pictures of saints, pictures of beautiful portraits of indigenous Puerto Ricans meeting with the Spanish colonizers, just all of this statues of Coqui, which is like the patron tree frog animal, a beautiful Puerto Rican flag that's like hand embroidered, just like hanging on the side of the wall. It's all very mystical, right? There's incense, there's 7-day candles, there is bookshelves with jars and really old books, um, and pieces of like fishing net and shells and dried starfish, driftwood, smooth river rocks. Like it's like you're just stepping into like uh an old like sanctuary of a spiritualist, essentially. All of this is very like weird TV show to Rosie and you've never to Rosie and Juniper, you've never seen this place. This place is amazing. And there's a little like black and white, like you're assuming it's black and white. It's not on. There's like a little television like in the corner, like a little radio television combo in the back of this place. And there's like a comfortable couch and love seat to sit on. There is like a little hot pot, like a heating plate where you can make coffee or tea. And like a tiny little mini fridge in the corner.
Oh, this place is elaborate. I like it. I also don't want to leave it.
We have some time as Dona Juniper. You know how to read, right?
And Juniper kind of nods like it's a silly question.
Okay, good. Some of these books are in English and I'm going to need your help. And immediately Dona Carmen goes into going through all of the different books as fast as she can to try and figure out, to find something about La Chupacabra and how to get rid of it. What are the rest of you doing in this moment that you are in this sacred space of your family?
Can I use some of my? Can I use brains to try to recollect anything that Tony would have learned from his family?
100%. And in fact, I will give you a reroll if you fail this roll because of where you're doing the research.
What's the check?
Brains.
No, what's is there? Sorry, better yet, what I'm asking is what's the
Oh, the difficulty. Yes.
Yeah.
You're not in face of your fear anymore. I'm going to say the difficulty is going to be 5, and then every 5 after that you would get some more information. But your base is 5 to try and get something that your character wouldn't already know about La Chupacabra from this place. And you can half that if you have a D10 or higher.
I got 5 on the dot, so
You got 5 on the dot? Okay. I'll get to you in a second. I just want to get through everybody first, and then I'll do the roll results. Rosie, what would you like to do while you are in this room to help or rest?
Consider me to be Uncle Tony's shadow.
Okay. I need you to give me a brawn or flight, whichever you think would be more appropriate. You know, are you trying to find like flight? Okay. So you're trying to like speed this up, right? You're handing Tony books, you're like looking at you know, just kind of speeding up the process. Go ahead and give me a flight check. Diff is going to be also 5, and whatever you get above is going to help the group get more information.
16, because my 10 exploded and I added a 6 to it.
Yes, so. 16. All right.
My 10 likes me.
Juniper, you and your grandmother are looking through books, looking through illustrations. She's handing you all the English ones because your English comprehension skills are better, and you're a little surprised at how many books in English your great-grandmother had. And how would you like to aid? Are you more taking this time to just kind of collect your thoughts? What are we thinking? How is Juniper helping in this situation?
I think Juniper is flipping through these books and trying to find information as fast and as efficiently as possible. I think she really enjoys like reading a lot of books and you know, so she's able to skim through these books pretty quickly to try and basically search for keywords.
Excellent. You also have a reroll because you're going through if you want to, if you fail this check, you have a reroll because you're going through your great-grandmother's library. So go ahead and roll. Let me know what you are, and then I will let you all know what happens as a result of all your rolls.
Brains check?
Brains or flight. Or possibly charm, because you are with your grandmother and you're adorable. Whichever
I
you feel would be more appropriate.
I think brains makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, you're prodigy.
'Cause- yeah. That is another natural 20. Let me
Hey.
plus a 9, so 29.
Okay. So the three of you are looking through books, looking through things, and in this moment, uh Juniper, with the help of everyone, actually finds the solution. You end up discovering that in order to banish a chupacabra, um, there's a few things. Sunlight, so waiting out the night, but that could result in a lot of people getting hurt. Um, Recao, which is a particular herb that you can just get from the ground. If you can get some stuffed recao into its mouth, or if you can get the smoke of recao, it's part. You end up like finding a book where you find out part of the reason why recao is put in sofrito, which is the base cooking. It's a cooking base that your grandmother and your mom and pretty much all of the women and men in the family use to cook everything. And recao is a very specific leaf that grows in Puerto Rico that gets added to like every single cooking thing. And it's at this point with these books, you realize that recao is actually a repellent for this particular type of spirit. The spirit often craves, the only thing that really satisfies it is the blood of animals. But if it's attacked or provoked, it will consider people animals. So at this point, you're dealing with a really dangerous one, because going through these books, and you really kind of understand why your grandmother is so panicked, because like once a chupacabra has been provoked to like turn on people, it will consider you a source of food alongside of everyone else's livestock in the neighborhood. And that is what you find out. And also because you got, what was it, a 20, a 30 what? 30,
29.
you have a 29. You look over and you realize that your grandmother still has her herb bag on her. She didn't drop it, and it is stuffed with fresh recao that she was going to use to cook for dinner. And she doesn't seem to remember. Like, she isn't even, she seems oblivious to the fact that she has a bunch on her.
Juniper is going to like just kind of move over to Dona Carmen and kind of start rooting through that bag basically, and start like just kind of
She like gets really, she like opens the bag so that your little hands can get in here. She's like, the recao. Oh, you are so, oh, and she just like takes her hands, her hands on your face, and she's like, you, mi chiquitita, you're so my small, smart girl. Thank you. And like she just like she just have tears of gratitude in her face, and this is all in Spanish, like, but like you're still like feeling the love, as you hear your young uncle Luis like echoing in the neighborhood, and is like, "Mommy, la chupacabra," but it's like "Va pa la casa," like it's coming to the house. Like you can hear it muffled, but he's so loud, and he's shouting loud because there's still like fireworks going off occasionally, but it's random and interspersed. Um, and it's at that point Dona Carmen gets up, and you've got like a handful of recao in your hand. Doni, what's the plan? And she puts her hand on your shoulder in a moment of trust.
So the creature's going towards our house, right? Like not
Yes.
where we're at,
Not
but
where you're at, but towards your family home.
and the recao just to kind of make sure the herb specifically used because I blanked a little bit here, is used specifically how for the ritual?
It's allergic.
It's just allergic to it.
Yeah, it either needs to eat it or it needs to be exposed to the smoke if it's like burned or cooked. Hence the reason why we cook everything. And by the way, this is a piece of very distinctly Taino Puerto Rican folklore. This is also something you could take back to Mexico. Because they might not have this solution here.
So it either has to ingest it or get into its bloodstream or smell
inhale
the
the
smoke.
Yeah. And you have a lot of it. You have a whole bag of it. And there's more at the house, but it's all diluted. It's like dried. She's got some fresh, but you guys have a whole bag of fresh cacao. And cacao is one of those herbs that you can literally pick it off the ground and drop it into your beans or rice.
Rosie's just gonna wave the machete and be like, Tio, I think you wanted to light this on fire before. What if we just like lit it on fire with the leaves? Because if it doesn't like it, then like it's gonna be bad about it. But like it's also like once again waving a machete.
He's not against the idea, but he was thinking of something else as well.
Well, what are you thinking of? Godman says.
Either we could coat the lawnmower blades with it, or we could set it ablaze and we could use this as a way of using it as a fan to be able to push the smoke towards it. But one would require that I would get close to it and try to cut it, because I don't like the idea of Rosie getting close with a machete to try to strike at a creature that would strike back.
Wait, what are we doing? And you see Dona Carmen goes back and she starts opening her mother's jars, and she like empties one of the jars and she pulls out a bottle of rum and she pulls out and you see her start making Juniper, give me a little bit of the racao. And she starts pouring like rum, like straight, like clear rum, like from like it's not even labeled. It's just like you can smell it, and she just starts pouring it into a jar. And she starts stuffing however much cacao gets handed to her. She starts squeezing it and putting it into the alcohol.
She's gonna walk up behind her and just outright say, "Molotov cocktail."
Molotov cocktail.
I like the way you think.
But in a jar, and then she like puts the. Let me tell you something. I learned something when I was working with la independencia, the independence. Sometimes she shakes it. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and especially when dealing with colonizers. And then she hands you the jar.
Amen. And he takes it.
Okay. So, the four of you head towards the house at this point to confront the creature. All right. The door opens. At this point, the streets are cleared. You've been in this place long enough. You see Luis still on the roof with a couple of the other cousins. He's like holding a fresh Roman candle out like a weapon. And then a couple of the other older cousins, one of them has like a really cool like sports like compound bow that he got for Christmas. Like one of the metal ones, the new ones. And then another one, another older cousin, all boys, men, Also another older cousin, like keeping with binoculars, like military grade binoculars that he had for the hurricane. And they're like looking around, keeping an eye out, and then the one with the binocular sees you, puts it down, and waves you all like over, pretty much saying that the way is clear as you guys make it, like are able to sneak through the back road. Because like essentially the way the neighborhood is like there's the house, there's the big yard, and then there's like a back road, and then there's another yard and another house, and it's all, and then behind that is jungle. So it's very like the neighborhood, you're going through these back roads, back through the back gate to the house, and your cousins are waving you guys over, saying that it's at least the pathway is safe, and you guys can see the like a trail of blood and like claws across the road, part of the and then a little bit is on the back fence, because the back fence isn't chain link, it's like nice, like it's a nice like stone cement fence with like spikes on the end of it, and that has like a little blood spatter on it, as you're pretty sure the creature probably crawled over the fence. And you carefully make your way in like the back, in the shadowy back driveway next to the shed that you just escaped. This pungent smell of papaya, overripe papaya that's kind of fallen to the ground and is, decomposing. It's been the holidays, so nobody has cleaned up the back driveway, and you're going past some more supplies, and the creature, you can hear it ragged breathing on the other side of the storage shed. You can see the destroyed door is like still on the ground. And you can see around the corner that the creature's wounds are already starting to just regenerate and knit closed. What do you do?
So it's essentially licking its wounds.
Yeah, and you can already see the wounds, like it's got like the bullet wounds, the burns from the Roman candle, like it looks messed up, but its wounds are slowly knitting shut as the blood is, and it's weird because the blood is like retreating into its body, almost like it's like a resource.
Is there any blood close by to us?
No. Strangely, it's almost as if it reabsorbed all the viscera, all the blood that got spattered when you first attacked it with the lawnmower blade.
How far away are the cousins on the roof from us?
20 feet from an angle from where you are up to the roof. Because it's excuse me, no, it's actually more like 10 feet, but they're 10 feet up, but they're 10 feet away. So it's a total of 20 feet at the angle. So, and they're about, like I said, they're also like 20 feet away from the creature. So, but they're up, and the creature would have to jump 10 feet. You think it can, but
so Dona Carmen has basically a Molotov cocktail.
yeah, she's handed it to Uncle Tony.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a Racao Molotov cocktail. Like she's got like the oil from the Racao, like almost like she had like 90 proof clear Bacardi rum in there, because that is the only thing that her great grandmother would do rituals with. And
Plus.
yeah, so it's intense.
I think Rosie's first gonna turn to Tony and just ask, "Do you have a lighter?"
He pulls it out of his backpack, flips it, and then passes it on to you.
Oh no, you need that. When you throw that, we should get Tio Luis to also light off a Roman candle at the thing. Just to make the flame bigger. because then it will make the smoke bigger. Just in case you miss. I believe in you. You're my favorite uncle. But just in case you miss.
Thanks, Mia. He
Don't-
takes this kind of half compliment, half insult of like being terrified, and it's just like, I guess I better not miss.
Juniper, is there anything that you want to do while you're in the back of the group with your grandmother?
I think Juniper's just gonna grab Dona Carmen's hand and
Mhm.
like give it a squeeze.
Gracias, mi amor. Thank you, my love. As she like squeezes your hand back. Um, and she hands you like a piece of like guava candy. Um, do you eat it?
Yeah.
Recover your other wound
All right.
as the comfort of this homemade guava candy that she made for the holidays has a soothing effect, even though you know that death is around the corner. Donnie, give me a fight roll.
It was a 5.
It was a
I'm
5.
Yeah, I'm gonna use I am my one adversity token that I have left.
Um,
We also have 7 for the
we
party that
we
you could
have
be
7
using.
for the party.
Okay,
Yeah.
7 for the party. Should we just? Well, I guess we're gonna bump it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to drop all 7? You can.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
please.
So you spend all 7. And in that moment, Tony, you chuck it and everything goes quiet, right? For the audience. And you could see Tony mouthing a shout to the cousins, and then the cousins go. You throw the jar smashes into the creature, it gets hit by the Roman candles, and the smoke, as the fire erupts, just starts burning into the creature like acid. And then like you can see like as the Rakao is getting into it, like its eyes and its mouth start emitting sunlight. And it starts like shrieking and shaking, and then it in a flash of what looks like concentrated sunlight in the middle of the night just goes off, and all that's left is just like a smoking tiny crater, like almost as if like a mini like sunbeam had been concentrated in one place, and the ground is completely dried and scorched and smoking, and it smells incredible. That terrible, awful, weird, wet goat, like fetid breath is erased as you just smell sweet, fresh rakau just drifting out. And your cousins, like a bunch of goofballs, are all cheering. They're cheering and clapping and are just like, woo! Smiles. And then all of a sudden, like everyone else in the family, like comes out into the yard, including your wife, who looks terrified, runs over to you. She hands the baby to Dona Carmen and throws her arms around you. And it's like, oh, oh, Tony, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you saved us.
Ten cuidado, amor. I have now
Oh,
kind of.
oh, uh, all- everybody back in the house, back in the house, back in the house. You know, as Dona Carmen is like trying to like usher like the 20-30 people of your extended family back into the house. And you know, there's like a little montage of like everyone like sitting you down. Juniper, you get whatever you want. You want cookies, you want like the first, like you want the little you if you want to have coconut pudding before dinner, you can have creepy cookies coconut pudding before dinner, and she will put it in front of you, and it is delicious. And Rosie, like, all of your cousins are like, we're never gonna doubt you again. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Like, you face some real Puerto Rican shit. Like, excuse my language, apologies. And like, just really like are all excited. And then you, always kind of been the Mexican sheep of the Puerto Rican family, they just bring you in, and it is so like warm and scary. As for the next 15 minutes, you all are given love and food and recovered. The other members of the family are like, we're gonna go like let other people in the neighborhood know. And like, it is just, the camera kind of pans back, the whole family just kind of just talking, and Christmas music, coming over. And our final scene, I'm gonna jump forward a few hours. It's about midnight. Most of the family is in bed. Dona Carmen has is still up with coffee. You're bundled up in, it's colder at night, the marine layers come in, so you're all kind of bundled up in your pajamas. And the four of you, Dona Carmen was like, we're gonna have some time with just the four of you before the holiday is over. And there is some late night Spanish Christmas programming going on the TV, on Telemundo. And you guys are under the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree. She loves Christmas trees because Dona Carmen loves American stuff when it comes to Christmas time. And she kind of sits around with all of you, and she says, thank you, all of you. Our family legacy has always been being able to see more than what others in the barrio see. Our great grandmother was a shaman of our people, or at least that's what you Americans would call it. She looked after the community. But I have to warn all of you, and I'm sure that your tío probably has seen some strange things in Arecibo as well. Ever since the hurricane, the old spirits have started to come back. And they're angry. I don't know if it's because what is happening with the way the people in the mainland treat us. I don't know if it's just something was broken when the hurricane came through. But thank you for saving the holiday. Thank you for helping me. It's now our legacy. So I'm going to give you all some gifts. And she goes in and she hands Rosie one of the books in the library. This is the beginning of your journey. Take this back to college, read it, learn it. She goes in and she hands Juniper one of the beautiful stones that has the symbol of the sun, the Taino sun on it. And then she also pulls out like a journal that looks very old. Half of this journal is your great grandmother's. The other half is blank. It's for you. Make sure you write in it everything you learn on your amazing adventures and all of your beautiful drawings. And she hands you a half-written notebook, the first half of the notes all being cool stories in English and Spanish from your great-grandmother about all kinds of monsters and things on the island. With herbs pressed in it that smell really, really good, including a rakau herb as a bookmark. And then she turns to Tony. 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 Goes in and she hands Tony a machete. It's wrapped in cloth, and then when you unwipe it, it's very old, but it looks well taken care of. And it's at this point you realize this is her father's machete. My father used this machete to tend to the gardens. And if you look very closely, and she points to some of the same kind of glyphs that were on the stones, the various Taino symbols. You see like the symbol of the coqui, the symbol of the sun, the symbol of the river, are just beautifully etched into the base of, like, above the hilt on the metal. This was my grandfather's. It is believed that it has some magical, it has some magic to it. I want you to have it. You have proven yourself a protector of this family, and you have proven yourself to be my son. And from now on, he will always be my hijo. And when I am gone, I expect you to protect my daughter when she steps up as matriarch of this family. Do you hear me? Is that understood?
That's a promise. As he stares into the machete.
Now, Juniper, you need to go to bed. The Magos are not going to come, and you're not going to get your gift. Don't worry about the grass. I have it covered. And then she gets up, and Rosie, could you tuck her in?
Mhm.
And our final scene is Rosie picking up a very tired 9-year-old. Or walking. Would you prefer to walk, or do you want to be picked up?
I think Juniper is practically falling asleep at the table. I think she gets
Yeah.
picked up.
You get a
Mhm.
good old piggyback.
Yeah.
You get picked up and put to sleep. Rosie, you're able to put a box full of grass and fresh carrots under the bed. We also see Luisa in the other room doing the same for the baby, where the crib is. And we our final scene will simply be Luisa joining her mother and her husband as they sip coffee, watching late night Telemundo holiday skits, and the kids head to sleep. And Three Kings Night has been saved by the family of Dona Carmen. And with that, we end our Kids on Bikes haunted holiday tale, Three Kings Night. Thank you all so much for joining us. I am going to have all of my players, please, we have charity streams all weekend. Please come in, please donate more. This was really wonderful. And before I say my full goodbye, I want to go ahead and cede the spotlight to my amazing players. Please tell the world who you are so that they can follow you and check out your streams and see more of your content. We will go backwards. We will start with Mars this time.
I am Mars. I have been Mars. I will continue to be Mars. You can find me on the internet at Paladinosaur. I do TTRPG stuff and art and all that. I'm also on Turntables RPG, which is a actual play stream that is a little bit inconsistent at the moment, but we're currently raising money for the Austin Bat Cave, so check that out if you'd like to do more charity stuff. The end.
All right, I'm gonna pop it over to Diamond.
I'm Madness Diamond, but since we're friends now, you can call me Diamond. I go by Diamond Lynn or Madness Diamond on all social medias. I am usually everywhere, I think. I think I have my username everywhere.
Mhm.
But if you like seeing me perform and stuff like this, I'm an actual play performer where I do streams all the time on different channels. I think I'm down to 2 streams a week now, give or take. But if you check out my Beacons link, beacons.ai/Madness Diamond, you can see my updated actual play schedule along with some of my other performances and past interviews that I have done. One interview I've done is with Dungeons and Degrees, where myself and AC Lawrence, aka Adrian, sat down and talked about just what I do in the TTRPG sphere and all the lovely things I do. But I'm the administrative coordinator for Dinner and a Game. I am the community manager for the cast side of things for World Tree Quest. I am also the co-lead producer for House of Dreams with our lovely Hector. If you hear Hector call me his number 2, it's because we spend so much time planning things to show you lovely people for House of Dreams coming in 2025. I am also involved with a nonprofit called Decrim 305, which is a made by sex workers, founded by sex workers, run by sex workers, nonprofit that is also in conjunction with Yalia Por Vida, which we basically give mutual aid, outreach resources, and sexual health advocacy, harm reduction resources as well to the Miami-Dade County of Florida. If you are in Miami, Florida, you got some time next weekend, we're doing Slut Walk. Slut Walk is a kind of just visual advocacy of showing that sex workers are people. We love having fun. We love spending time with each other. We love helping our community any way we can. So if you want to support them and you're in Miami-Dade, go ahead and check that out if you have some time. But I post about it on my socials. You can find all of the links to all the things I've mentioned in my Beacons link, beacons.ai/Madness Diamond. If you like my brand of wholesome chaos, if you need a little sparkle and shine to your project, slide into my DMs. If you are a player looking for a table or a DM looking for a place to stream your game, I might know somebody. I know a lot of people sometimes. My networking is your networking, and I'm always here to help. So just send me a message.
All right, and then we're gonna popcorn it over to Dio.
Well, I am now on the spotlight, so I don't know what to say. So I have my page over on Blue Sky, Cerucho Pompadour. I don't really post much stuff other than my art. I'm not really, I haven't really advertised myself. This is actually my first time really getting out of my comfort zone, really. But otherwise, I have done some work with Dragon's Greed Gaming. We did a whole first season. We've already finished the first season of Blades in the Dark. That came to its conclusion, and I hope everybody checks that out because that was awesome. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I got nothing else to say.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we could be one of your first like Twitch experiences. This is really great. So as I said, I am Hector, aka Okami, known as KG Okami all over the internet. I am the steward of the House of Dreams, which next year in 2025, myself and Diamond will be co-producing several different amazing shows. But I am all over the internet. I am on Pantsless Tables twice a week, once for Dare to Dream and once for Dark Waters, which is 2 of our ongoing series that we have over there. I am also on Misadventures League over on Wednesdays, which is a wonderful European-based channel where I play Beyond Hollow's Veil, which is Delta Green. And in between that, I do all kinds of fun charity one-shots, you know, like here and whatnot. And later this month, if you go to my Blue Sky page, which will be in the chat, you can find a little calendar where you're going to see where I am this December. I have about 12 different streams. So between my regular things and various one-shots that I am helping out with because I love gaming, you'll see me over at High Shelf Collective for their winter games and Dinner and a Game for their winter games. So please follow me, check out my shows, and thank you all so much, audience and players, for coming to my beautiful hometown of Dorado Beach and enjoying and being a part of Puerto Rican culture because we're all human, right? I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Please continue to donate, even though the game is ending. The charity is still going on, and we have several other streams. And with that, all of you have a wonderful afternoon and happy holidays from this Puerto Rican to the rest of the world.